5 words you pronounce wrong 2 years before your brain starts shutting down. Dementia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I know that Rhiannon would just love this, all this joyful noise of reunion and community. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego. Welcome to those of you present here in our meeting house and to those of you watching online. I'm the Reverend Justine Sullivan. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as one of the ministers of this congregation. We are here today to celebrate the life and mourn the death of Rhiannon Smith. It is good to be together. And I'd like to invite up Aislinn Smith, Rhiannon's mother, and Asha and Maya, who will together light our chalice.
We light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. When we light it, it's an embodiment of our most deeply held values of love and truth and justice. As it shines, it gives us strength in the midst of challenges and reminds us that we are held in a greater love than we can imagine. This afternoon, we also light our chalice in honor of our beloved Rhiannon, a bright and unique soul who touched our lives with her laughter, her passion, her fierce love, and determination. May this light accompany us as we remember, honor, and celebrate Rhiannon Smith.
Oh, this is a great time to remind us all to put our phones, thank you, right on cue, to put our phones in worship mode. In her piece, Blessing for the Brokenhearted, Jan Richardson writes, "Let us agree for now that we will not say the breaking makes us stronger, or that it is better to have this pain than to have done without this love. Let us promise that we will not tell ourselves that time will heal the wound when every day our waking opens it anew. Perhaps for now it can be enough to simply marvel at the mystery of how a heart so broken can go on beating as if it were made for precisely this, as if it knows the only cure for love is more of it." Love. Love was at the center of Rhiannon's life. Love for her family, both those related to her and those whom she claimed as her own. Love for this Unitarian Universalist faith, as imperfect as it is. Love for all the beings on the earth. And the depth of our ache and our sorrow and our regret matches the depth of our love for Rhiannon. And so let us avoid and reject for now, as Richardson writes, the not very helpful things we say to each other so often when someone dies. The breaking doesn't make us stronger. It exposes our vulnerability, our human frailty. We have the capacity to break one another's and our own hearts. And there is no way, my beloveds, to open our hearts to love without also opening our hearts to the ache of loss. Right now, it is not okay. It is not okay, and we are not okay. And we don't have to be okay or say that we are. We are here together feeling all the love and all the loss. And we can bear it. And we will, because of our love for Rhiannon and her love for us, and that is what connects us. As we arrived this afternoon, we heard some lovely music from Reuben, including one of Rhiannon's favorite Unitarian Universalist songs, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are," with the words credited to 13th century Muslim mystic and poet Rumi. "Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come." But often when we sing that song, we leave out the most important line of that lyric. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come, whoever you are. I have reflected on those words about broken vows, broken promises to ourselves and to each other, and the reminder of the possibility of forgiveness, of return, of invitation, even though we break our vows 1,000 times, even though we break each other's hearts. I've been thinking about all of this as I have thought about Rhiannon, watching her struggle, reach out and then withdraw, disappear and then return, simultaneously opening herself to all of us and hiding herself from us, hiding her woundedness, hiding the extent of her addiction to alcohol, hiding the extent of her addiction to alcohol that cost her so much, her financial security, her relationship with the person whom she truly loved and had been building a life with. She separated herself from those most able to help her until she was ready. And then she did say yes to getting well, to doing battle with that beguiling foe, addiction. But alas, it was too late. The illness that had taken so much from her ultimately took her health and her life. And so we feel sad, lost, stunned, bereft, betrayed, and yes, angry. Angry at ourselves for seeing and yet not seeing how Rhiannon was struggling. Angry with her for not letting us help, for not letting us see just how much of a hold addiction had on her life. And yet it is so difficult, isn't it, beloveds, to be angry with someone who has died. And so our sense of despair and helplessness grow. And this is why we gather in community. To celebrate a life, yes, and we do, and we will. We will hear stories of Rhiannon's courage and creativity and her ability to love so deeply. And we do celebrate her. We marvel at all that she accomplished. She was a leader, she was a healer, she was a connector, a creator of community, and so much awaited her. And we feel, I feel robbed of that possibility of watching her come into her own. of seeing what, with her unique and wonderful combination of gifts, she might offer to our aching and beautiful world. Such a great loss, and we mourn her. But we do not mourn alone. We gather in community not only to celebrate, but also to comfort, to remember, and to do what Rhiannon loved almost more than anything else, to connect. I asked a friend who loved Rhiannon very deeply what she would most want the world to know about Rhiannon, and she said simply that Rhiannon loved. She loved in an extraordinary way. If two people she loved were at odds with one another, she did not take sides. She just kept loving them both, without question, without reservation. She loved. Come, come, whoever you are. You are beloved. That was the song that Rhiannon sang to all within the sound of her voice, within the circle of her life, and she touched many lives within that ever-widening circle. Rhiannon Cantwell Smith was born in Rhode Island, which is known as the Ocean State. There she learned to love the sea, the smell of the salt air, the way the light sparkles off the water, the sound of the surf. She graduated from Narragansett High School in 2007, and then in 2012 from Northeastern University in Boston. During her time in college, Rhiannon traveled to many countries, including Turkey, Peru, Benin, and Italy. She graduated summa cum laude from Northeastern with a Bachelor of Arts in International Affairs and Human Services. In 2013, Rhiannon moved to San Diego and lived for a time with her cousin Asha. And I should say here that Rhiannon's cousins Asha and Maya are really her sisters. She found a spiritual home here at First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego and became an active member of the women's choir and the young adult group. She served on the board of trustees in various positions from 2016 to 2024, and from 2019 to 2020, she served as this congregation's youngest ever board president. Yeah. Rhiannon was I'm not so sure she always heard applause then, so just want to pause and say, Rhiannon, thank you for serving as our board president. She was also an active member of the Unitarian Universalist community across the United States and beyond. She became an administrator for the Pacific Western region of the Unitarian Universalist Association, UUA, and she served on the steering committee of DRUM, Diverse Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries. You can see why they would abbreviate that, DRUM. Rhiannon also served as a representative at the International Council of Unitarian Universalist Conference in Nepal. Rhiannon loved all animals, and she loved to sing, especially musical theater, and she worked for justice, fiercely advocating for those who historically did not have a place at the table. She made the table larger and invited us all to take a seat. Come, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come. Rhiannon is survived by her mother, Aislinn Smith of North Kingstown, Rhode Island, her father, Anand Nair of Orlando, Florida, her sisters, Shobi, Asha, and Maya, beloved friends Sophie and Yona, her uncle Kevin and aunt Premila, godmother Leanne, her beloved Anthony, nieces, nephews, aunties, cousins, and all the beloved members of her chosen family. She is predeceased by her grandfather, Paul Smith, whom she adored.
Hello. Rhiannon would be so glad to see each and every one of your faces, and so I am too. My name is Aunt Leanne. It is my professional name as a storyteller, and it's the name that Rhiannon most often called me, along with Godmommy. She loved to hear stories. She came and heard me tell stories a lot, and I'm so glad I got to share a love of story and music with her. A lifetime of music and story, but a much too short lifetime. I hope it's all right if I share a story and a song with you now, because I'm gonna. And the story starts like so many good stories with once upon a time. Once upon a time, the dust from stars all over the universe wished for a soul. And they mixed together with DNA and love and fortune or fate and spirit. And they came together into a life and a baby girl who entered this world, who entered this world in an emergency C-section because drama and struggle needed a metaphor, right? Yeah, absolutely. I was one of the lucky ones that got to hold her on that day and watch her magic grow throughout her life. As Rhiannon grew from baby to girl to teenager to young woman, she seemed to gather up all kinds of fairy blessings and more than her fair share of evil curses as well. Those bright and dark threads. Oh, I wish I could weave a basket to carry her journey further than it went with those bright and dark threads. I wish that I could put time in that bottle. If I could have found a way to sail the ocean further with her as a companion. But I do see the crater left behind by her stardust, her meteorite. Some of those superpower blessings and gifts were loving fiercely and causing us to love fiercely as well. She had a hunger for justice and a desire for silliness and seriousness in equal measure. That gift that she had for loving animals and children, and how they caused her so much delight even when she pretended to be annoyed. There's a deep unfairness in the magic cut short with much less time than expected. We can only marvel at that outline of impact, the imprint of the life left behind on us, and hope for the eternity and eternalness of love, of connection. Perhaps there is, or there will be, a chance to know one another again and still in the moreness of it all. Perhaps we may discover it is even a mysterious, beyond the rainbow, magical, not yet known but always there connection. Do you feel the song coming on? Sure, absolutely. Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it, but I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish must be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of it, someone believed it. Look what that's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And who do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I hear them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls to young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that we're supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La-di-da-da-di-da-do, da-da-da-da-da-do.
There's something I have to show you after that song. She would hate me if I didn't. Thank you. This is the best spot right now. This is the best space to be in right now. I didn't know I was gonna cry. We're gonna get through this though. When I was asked if I wanted to say something, I said absolutely. And so what I ended up doing is I wrote a letter to Rhiannon. And that letter ended up being a letter in 3 parts. So we're gonna go through a letter in 3 parts together. And they are, I love you, I'm sorry, and I miss you. I love you. We met at the young adult meeting in September of 2013. I joined 1 week, and you arrived the following week. My glow of being the new person was short-lived. Thanks for that, Rhiannon. However, starting around the same time, while delving into the UU faith and community, we wove a connection that tied and strengthened our bond. And I have to be honest, I initially kept a distance from our friendship forming. I love you. Rhiannon, you craved crafting friendship with everyone, and I was overwhelmed. But damn it, you were persistent, and I couldn't escape your friendship grasp even as I was actively trying. Similar to your love of animals, if the pet wasn't interested in you, challenge accepted. And you befriended any animal within your vicinity, and I love to see the joyful animal friendships brought to you. That following year, you, Matt, and I became part of the church's rummage sale leadership, became official First UU San Diego members with several other friends, and even served as young adult camp staff at De Benneville Pines. It was a wild, busy, interwoven year. We even chatted about being co-deans in the future and decided it wasn't for the best as we'd bump heads too much. I love you. As our journey through life continued, young adult group meetings, craft fairs, young adult camps at De Benneville Pines, trivia nights, drag shows, brunches, birthday celebrations, Halloween parties, New Year's Eve celebrations, milestones throughout our lives, attending General Assembly as lay leaders, Thrive in New Orleans, becoming members of Drum, more of our lives became interwoven amongst our personal and UU faith communities, and I witnessed you growing into your adulthood. In 2019, I asked if you would write one of my letters of recommendation for seminary. You did, and I got into Star King. You had also begun working for the UUA at the national level of the Pacific Western region. We will travel to more conferences and events, general assemblies, finding our way home, weddings within our beloved community, and many more events. Many planes, trains, and car rides. We traveled well together, and I was fortunate to spend that extra time on those adventures with you. I love you. We'd share hotel space, lying in opposite beds, staring at one another while sharing our joys and griefs from the previous day. Then, you would offer loving hope for a better day ahead. When I graduated from seminary, you came to witness and celebrate with me. I was so grateful to have you there. I love you. I have to offer. We'd often drive one another crazy spending so much time together. We were just too much alike at times. You'd see my grumpy, annoyed, eye-rolling, and hangry self. I'd see your grumpy, annoyed, eye-rolling, hangry self. But I know we got to express and witness that side of each other because we loved one another. That's how I knew we were chosen family for each other. I love you. Over those years, I saw your call to justice grow, showcasing radical love to everyone you encounter. Your unwavering support for those within the margins of our communities. Champion for accessibility of disabled individuals, queer rights, abortion rights, anti-racism, anti-oppression work, and for Black, Indigenous, people of color rights within our communities. Your steadfast strength for undocumented individuals by being part of the team that made this congregation a sanctuary church. Even now, I can hear your voice lovingly yet firmly shouting to our trans and non-binary siblings that they are loved, welcomed, and needed in our world at a time in our lives when too many are remaining silent. All this to say, I saw you loving fiercely, living out your values loudly, and nobody could ever change that love. I love you. I'm sorry. Over the years of deepening friendship, I have witnessed your quiet and slow suffering. This manifested over time in abusing alcohol to numb what was hurting you so deeply. I wish I had a magic wand that could have helped you overcome alcoholism and the hardship and heartache that addiction brings. But sadly, that doesn't exist. I'm sorry that I didn't risk our friendship as an ultimatum for you to stop consuming that which was harming you and your body. Selfishly, I wanted to continue being in your life for the recovery journey. I'm sorry. In early November, it was the last time I got to visit you in person. I saw you at your apartment. You had checked out of the care facility and were in transition before going into rehab. I noticed how weak you had become as your recovery process was underway. At the beginning of our conversation, you shared, I know you're going to chaplain me, and it's not unwelcome. Well, that was news to me. And even giving me a double negative to work off of. We had a good laugh after this. Still, I nodded in understanding and began deeply listening. For 3 hours, you shared with me stuff I had never, ever heard that was on your heart. I wanted to stay longer because in that moment, I had all the time for you. But I saw you were tired and needed rest. So I gave you the longest hug I could muster and told you I loved you while sharing that you're no longer carrying those heartaches by yourself. I got you. I'm sorry. When I got to my car, tears rolled down my face. At that moment, it was clear that what you had been craving and needing from me was not just your friend Isaac and not Pastor Isaac, but time and space with all of me, your friend and chosen family, whom you had seen growing into my chaplaincy and ministry. I only wish I had figured that out much sooner before your passing. Rhiannon, I hope you know that throughout it all, you were always worthy of receiving the love and belonging that you poured into so many of us. I love you, and I'm sorry. I miss you. When I learned of your passing, I cried multiple times that day and continued doing so each preceding day. It wasn't until the end of the 9th day that I noticed I had felt grief throughout the day but hadn't cried. And then, of course, I found myself crying at this realization and guilt. My heart was aching, and my spirit was weeping. I found myself avoiding social media because of the outpouring of grief others were sharing. So I searched for comfort and solace in cute animal videos and funny memes. Then I would instinctively begin to want to send them to you. And I would have to stop myself. How ingrained that practice had become in me, wanting to share joy this way with you. I miss you. As the weeks continued, I found myself processing that grief. And I heard from our friends, Sana and Tyler. They were going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, for a work event and asked if I had free time to visit them. Being in Yuma, Arizona, I was about 2.5 to 3 hours away, and I knew you'd want me to be with them. We spent one whole day together grieving and celebrating you. At breakfast, Sana shared that she had saw a hummingbird in her dreams and wondered what it meant. Throughout the day, we saw hummingbirds everywhere, from the alley murals to postcards, shirts, hats, belt buckles, and even jewelry. I told Sana and Tyler I was confident it was you, Rhiannon, who showed up as the hummingbird in her dreams. I missed you. I found a mountaintop area overlooking Phoenix to watch that night's sunset. We brought colorful flowers to leave as an offering for you. As we waited for the sunset, I shared with them that I wondered what color sunset we'd be getting. Arizona sunsets have a wide variety: reds, pinks, oranges, yellows, and blues. Yet that day, I saw that it was the most purple sunset I had ever witnessed. I cried again because I knew you were bringing forth your favorite color to be with us. I miss you. As we placed those flowers down and offered our blessings, water libations, and words of remembrance, I felt you in that space with us. I was moved to suggest a song for us to sing, and you know I'm not a singer. Still, I know it's one of your deepest joys. There we were, on the mountaintop, singing the theme song from Golden Girls. As we sang and brought those lyrics to life, I felt the smiles and cheers coming from the three of us, even to the final words, "Thank you for being a friend." I know that if I ever threw a party and invited everyone that I knew, the biggest gift would be from you, Rhiannon. This grief is heavy and cuts deep. Yet, how lucky am I to have a friendship, a chosen familyship, that causes my heart to ache and so much pain. That's real love. That's real love. Thank you for being my friend, Rhiannon. I love you. I'm sorry. And I miss you.
I'm going to read a piece by Pixie Lighthorse called Honoring Advocacy that reflects so much of what Rhiannon believed and fought for. Help me to speak out for justice with a special desire fueled by a power greater than surface comforts and outdated systems. Let me be a troublemaker to champion those I love and care for, and for those I don't intimately who need my help, who I don't know intimately who need my help. Hire me to be a powerful voice for the change that heals, reconciles, forgives, and improves. Help me create time and space to lend support where it is needed. Transmit me the passion to be bothered by violations of another's rights to life, liberty, happiness, and their voice. Find me faithful and in service, riding shotgun to heart-led movements and leading the charge when it is up to me to do so. Remove my feelings of hopelessness in what I perceive to be the opposition. Align me with action and channel my energy for others. Bind me to the medicine of love. Let me affect the transformation that leads to needed change. Light the torch of revolution in my heart. Stand me upright on a foundation of faith while I take the next steps. Build my voice as an instrument for defending freedoms which provide equality. Keep my motivations clean. Grant me the tools to see near and far and find me adjusting the lens often. Help me to give a leg up to the underdog, to root for the one who doesn't stand a chance. Help me to accept being unliked or misunderstood for positioning myself behind what I believe in. Bolster my confidence and give me the understanding and empathy required for sustainable existence. Make tolerance my priority and give me the words and actions to fight violence with the sword of peace. Orient me to inclusivity. Help me to stop putting individuals into dualistic opposition. Rather, focus me on repairing broken systems and my participation in them. Dissolve my tendencies for cliques, partisanship, judgment, righteousness, bandwagons, and the damning or idolizing of those I perceive to have more than me. Help me to do my part to clang the bells of freedom. When 10,000 are whispering, make me one who is listening.
Most of you who know this song will, I hope, join us and sing along, please. If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend that with you. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've lived Looked around enough to know you're the one I wanna go through
I'm Maya, Rhiannon's cousin. Some of you might have heard Rhiannon referring to Asha, my sister, and I as her super cousins, because cousin always felt like an inadequate description of what our relationship was. Asha, Rhiannon, and I are related on both sides of our family, so both our mother's and our father's sides. And the three of us came into this world one right after the other. So Asha in 88, Rhiannon in 89, and me in 90. So with the family ties that we shared, the closeness in age that we had, and the amount of time we spent together, it was no question we were sisters, and that's always how we referred to one another and considered one another. And of course, Rhiannon was also very proud to have Shobi as her big sister. So even growing up in different states, Rhiannon in Rhode Island and Asha and I in Massachusetts, we spent an enormous amount of time together as kids, laughing, playing, joking, a lot of fighting. And it was so special to have that bond carried into adulthood. So from the perspective of that lifelong love and bond that we shared, I wanted to share a few things about our dear sister, Rhiannon. Rhiannon was probably the smartest person I knew. I always thought, and I still think, name any job and Rhiannon could do it. She could be the president. To be clear, when the bar for that job was much higher. A human rights lawyer, an award-winning scientist, the head of a nonprofit, anything. She could have done it. There was no doubt in my mind. She did extremely well in all of her academic pursuits. She had encyclopedic knowledge and could recall an incredible amount of specific details or facts extremely quickly. So those of you who had the misfortune of playing against her in trivia or Jeopardy or really anything, you already know this. Her intelligence also gave her very quick wit. She was extremely funny. She was quick to make jokes that would have us all in stitches. And even the last few times I saw her in the hospital where she was struggling to breathe, she managed even then to crack a number of jokes and witty remarks. And her wit also came with very cutting sarcasm. Because she was so smart, she could effectively attack very quickly. So I'm sure there are many folks in the room who've probably experienced this. If you know Rhiannon, you know it's a very bad idea to be even remotely disrespectful to someone she loves. As much as she was loving, she would tear you down in a second if she thought you were coming after her people. And that is something that was so lovable about her. How fiercely she defended those she loved, and how strongly she stood up for her beliefs and her convictions. But it was beyond just academic brilliance. She was also very emotionally intelligent. She was empathetic, loving, caring, and was there to do whatever was required in people's time of need. She absolutely loved being an auntie to her beautiful nieces and nephews, like Kaya and Grayson, who are here today. She loved being an auntie to all of her friends' children as well. And as you've heard, she loved all critters, big and small. Her gentleness and love for all kinds of animals was so illustrative of the kind of love and care and compassion she brought to the world. She loved musical theater, she loved music generally. She loved going to concerts to see favorite bands from her teenage years, even as an adult. And anywhere she went, she had to get a memento from that place. A magnet, a backpack, a sweatshirt. It didn't matter, but it had to be something that represented where she'd been. If you've had to wait in line with her at merchandise tables, this can get very old very quickly. Do you really need an 157th t-shirt? But I realize now, despite my eye rolls, that for Rhiannon, it really wasn't about the stuff itself. It was always about memorializing happy moments in her life, having an object to bring her a smile because it would remind her of a particular moment. She was so good at relishing the joyous moments of life. And it's also important to acknowledge how difficult it was for anyone who loved her to watch her struggle with her addiction over the last several years of her life. The addiction harmed relationships. It caused the people around her a lot of pain, and of course caused her pain and suffering both physically and emotionally. It took away and it changed pieces of the person that we knew her to be. The last time she came to visit me in New York in 2023, we took a walk in a park near my apartment, and we sat on a bench for a while overlooking the East River. And I told her how worried I was about her addiction to alcohol and how urgent it was that she seek help. And I said to her, Rhiannon, this is going to be a chapter of your life, one that you look back on and you say, I was going through such a tough time then, but now I'm on the other side of it. I think that's what we all hoped for her. We know that if she had gotten the treatment that she needed, she would have been able to do so much. She would have been an incredible mentor, supporter, or counselor to others struggling with addiction. And she would have inspired others by showing able to find a life of peace and love and balance without alcohol. I know we all hoped that better days were ahead for her. We knew that she could do it and that she could get to the other side. And I know that we are heartbroken that she is gone before she could get to that other side. Since we can't bring her back, there are some small ways I think we can honor her and carry forward her legacy. The first is to take lots of pictures of seemingly regular moments in your life. Rhiannon was always the person at any gathering. Didn't even have to be a gathering, could have been a cup of tea or a brunch or something like that. She would always insist on taking photos of the moment. Sometimes I would roll my eyes at that too, like I don't really want to have my watching a movie in sweatpants memorialized forever. But now I am so grateful for her insistence on doing that. It's because she was such a good documenter of life, much like her grandfather, who always had a huge video camera on his shoulder, that now I have so many opportunities to see her and feel closer to her when I am missing her. The second way that I think we can honor her is related to how she treated people. Part of the reason Rhiannon had about 1,000 best friends is because she understood people very well. She understood that human beings are really not that complicated. All most of us really want is to be accepted and loved for who we are, to feel seen, to feel included, to feel like we belong to and are a part of something bigger than ourselves. Rhiannon understood that better than most of us. And so she was able to connect with others so easily, not just because of all of the other amazing qualities we love about her, but because she went out of her way to make people feel included, like they belonged, like they were a part of something. She would remember very specific things about you and then show up with something you mentioned that you loved one time 5 years ago. She would drop everything when she knew someone was in need and do what she could to help. And so if there's anything we can do to carry forward her legacy, I would say, seize opportunities to make people feel accepted and loved for who they are. Go out of your way to make someone feel included and connected. Show up for your loved ones when they need you. And think of Rhiannon when you do. and know that even when she was struggling in the last years of her life, we all knew this to be the true core of who she was. I want to end my reflection with a song for Rhiannon. As many of you know, she had a very beautiful voice, and she was also not shy at all about sharing it with others, and would tease me because I'm a little more shy about sharing my voice with people. So I want to do this honor for her by singing. And if you know this song, especially people in the room with Irish ancestry might, then please join in and sing. Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company. Oh, and all the harm that e'er I done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health whate'er befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Of all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health whate'er befalls. I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all.
I'm standing upon the seashore. A ship at my side spreads her white sails to the morning breeze and starts for the blue ocean. She is an object of beauty and strength. I stand and watch her until at length she hangs like a speck of white cloud, just where the sky and the sea come to mingle with each other. And then someone at my side said, there, she's gone. Gone where? Gone from my sight. That is all. She is just as large in mast and hull and spar and spirit as she was when she left my side. And she is just as able to bear her load of living freight to her destined port. Her diminished size is in me, not in her. And just at the moment when someone at my side says, "There, she's gone," there are other eyes watching her coming, and other voices ready to take up the glad shout. Here she comes.
Please join me in singing Blue Boat Home. Feel free to rise in body or spirit. Below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean, earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, hauling in their pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the brave winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Our closing words are by the Reverend Kathleen McTeague.
In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength in this choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives well lived.
We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be.
Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust, and have not disappeared.
They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own.
We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts. We take them with us, and with them, choose the deeper path of living.
Spirit of life and love, Holy One of many names, we give thanks for the life of Rhiannon Smith. We release you, dear Rhiannon, from the cares of this earth, from the frailty of the human body, and from the vulnerability of the human spirit. But we trust in the knowledge that love will not let you go, dear one, and we will carry you forward in our hearts and minds, in the joy of a shared joke or an inappropriate giggle, and in the comfort of a shared worry or sorrow. We will never let go of the love that you brought forth in us for as long as we shall live. Go in peace, dear one. Rest in power, held always, always, always in love. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe.